episode of Deep Dives. I'm DJ Glowing Ice. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. If you grew up in the 80s or early 90s, you knew that cartoon theme song by heart. You raced home to line up your plastic heroes in a half shell in front of the TV, recreating epic battles between commercial breaks. This wasn't just another cartoon in an oversaturated lineup. The action figures, movies, comics, lunchboxes, clothes, the Turtles were a cultural supernova that defined our childhoods. But how did a gritty, violent indie comic from two broke artists turn into a billion-dollar empire that crushed G.I. Joe as the best-selling toy line of the 80s and redefined what a kid's property could become, and planted the seeds of its own downfall? Before we head into the subterranean tunnels of Manhattan, a tubular thank you to our fellow Deep Dives member, Supertron, for bringing all this lore fresh from the sewers to you. It's 1983 in Dover, New Hampshire. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird share a rundown apartment and no money. Like the crack of a mutagen canister, an idea sparks, born from a desire to make each other laugh. The creativity in the room is palpable. The duo decides to make this turtle a ninja and give him brothers, a sensei. The foundation of a franchise that would resonate far beyond their small New Hampshire apartment. The mid-80s atmosphere was electric. Martial arts movies, especially Bruce Lee flicks, made a resurgence on cable TV. Add insanely popular comics like Uncanny X-Men and Frank Miller's Daredevil, and you've got the perfect cultural concoction. The very canister of mutagen that spawned our heroes in a half shell? It's heavily implied to be the same radioactive waste that blinded Matt Murdock and birthed Daredevil. Parodying and homaging those worlds at once? They weren't just weaving influences. Eastman and Laird sparked a new mutation. From the subterranean depths of Manhattan, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles took their first steps into existence. In 1984, Eastman and Laird founded Mirage Studios, using their kitchen table in that small apartment as their base of operations. With a tax refund and a loan from Eastman's uncle, they headed to Kinko's, where the first 3,000 copies of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 came to life. Meaning to be a one-shot issue, its impact was undeniable, as all copies sold out within weeks. To put things in perspective, the original TMNT comics didn't come out of the gate as brightly colored cartoons. They were stark black and white. The brothers wore matching red bandanas, their belts plain without the iconic name initials. The only thing setting them apart was their weapons of choice. They were dark. Not after-school special, lesson of the day dark, but Frank Miller gritty noir violent. The Turtles killed evildoers. No jokes, no cowabungas, no pizza. Their weapons served their actual lethal intent. The book was filled with satirical, morally ambiguous storylines that were absolutely not for kids. Shredder, the sworn enemy of Hamato Yoshi, was a legitimate threat, the ruthless leader of the Foot Clan. Not some blundering villain thwarted every episode. In 1987, as that niche cult following among comic book nerds grew, this caught the attention of Mark Friedman, who recognized the marketability in both the heroes and villains. He shopped the cult hit comic everywhere, and it was Playmates who bit, wanting a toy line built around the characters. A bold move with no cartoon backing it up. However, Playmates had one condition. Eastman and Laird had to produce a show to promote it. Though the Mirage comic had built a cult following, it was deemed too dark for small children. Fred Wolf Films with Toei and ACOM Animation delivered the softer series, echoing the toy cartoon playbook of Transformers and G.I. Joes. Early toys and print ads still rocked the gritty, plain white eyes and Mirage poses, while the cartoon added black irises for kid-friendly polish. To make the Turtles agreeable to parents and television networks, the series took a lighter tone. No expletives, less violence, and less threatening villains. Then, on December 28, 1987, just months before the toys hit shelves, the show Ninja kicked onto television screens worldwide. An instant hit, fueled by that rocking opening theme song and pure slapstick humor. It rocketed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to new heights, as well as a wider audience, but at a cost. The characters were now perceived in ways Eastman and Laird never intended. The overnight popularity of the cartoon and toy line quickly led to Turtlemania. Every toy company raced to license these hot new characters. From 1988 to 1992, the Turtles infiltrated homes everywhere. Lunchboxes, bed sheets, video games, cereal boxes, even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies. While action figures exploded in variants, one-episode gimmicks that vanished fast, movie homages, sports tie-ins. This green wave swept the planet. Even Hollywood hustled to cash in, delivering the 1990 live-action film. It's important to keep in mind that during this period, live-action adaptations were usually reserved for popular characters. The previous attempt at an anthropomorphic hero, Howard the Duck, had been a massive failure at the box office just a few years earlier, creating hesitation about whether these four wisecracking turtles could succeed. Instead of fully adapting the cartoon, the filmmakers drew from the darker and richer source material of the comics, and the decision paid off in a big way, as the film became a massive box office hit. It resonated not only with children, but also touched the hearts of older viewers, further solidifying the Turtles' popularity. The movie not only surpassed expectations, but also became a cultural touchstone, validating the franchise's significance and introducing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to an even broader fan base. They weren't just a passing fad. They had firmly established their place in the hearts of fans of all ages. By 1994, in an overly saturated toy market, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles transcended cartoons and movies. Turtlemania had become a lucrative pop culture phenomenon, and Playmates was all in, cranking out action figures kids begged their parents for at toy stores. Coveted gems like the Technodrome, the Party Wagon, and the Sewer playset. However, this new lighthearted portrayal pulled the Turtles further from the darker, nuanced storytelling Eastman and Laird originally crafted. While the creators celebrated their success, they wrestled privately with a sense of loss over their original characters, who now churned out simple, non-threatening adventures where even Shredder got softened to avoid scaring young viewers. For many of us who grew up in that era, the wild and vibrant world of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was nothing short of magical, defining our childhoods in unforgettable ways. We ran around with Christmas wrapping paper tubes, pretending to be the Turtles themselves, fully immersed in their adventures. Yet with all this commercial success came a realization. The characters had transformed into symbols of youthful escapism, a far cry from the gritty roots that birthed them. Ultimately, the very factors that fueled Turtlemania contributed to its decline. The success of the cartoon, the toys, and the endless stream of merchandise led to a perception that the Turtles were solely entertainment for younger kids. The cultural landscape was changing. Those same kids were growing up, and we began to seek out offerings from Marvel, DC, and the newer, edgier Image Comics. Shows like Batman the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series, and Gargoyles brought darker themes and deeper stories, dimming the spotlight on the once beloved Turtles. In a bid to win us back, Playmates pushed darker takes like the Japan-made Super Mutants pilot and Red Sky era. Grittier visuals, heavier tones, but these felt like late swings in a game already lost. Rivals like Batman, X-Men, and Power Rangers proved you didn't need to dumb things down. Cartoons could be art, pack real stakes, complex narratives, and edge without losing mass appeal. Turtlemania may have only lasted just under a decade, but our heroes in a half shell would continue to rise again and again. Because beneath all the merchandising and commercialism, there is a solid idea. 4 individual brothers united to fight for what is right, even though they are different. Through each reboot, some absolutely amazing, proving that prioritizing story over merchandise can build a fan base, while others, not so much. The 1987 series, to date, is the most popular version of our beloved Turtles. The show that made a generation addicted to pizza. The colorful bandanas as kids we'd make from old clothes and fabric. Catchphrases all born from the 87 cartoon and onward to the next mutation of fans. For the children of the 80s and 90s, that first magical decade will always be remembered fondly. The Turtles weren't just characters in a cartoon or plastic toys. They were us. Our distinct individual voices, forever captured in our chaotic, joyful memories. If today's episode sparked some memories, we'd love to hear from you. Who was your Ninja Turtle? Mine personally, Michelangelo. And if you enjoyed this episode, we'd appreciate it if you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this look at celebrating the history, the chaos, and the cowabungas of many childhoods through the pizza-fueled bandanas of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you'd like to enjoy further adventures of the Turtles, we've left a recommended reading list down in the description. Be sure to join us for another episode of Deep Dives, and until next time, keep reading, keep exploring, and, as always, happy hunting, everyone.